When I was 4 years old, someone gave me a Gene Autry paper doll book. I remember playing with that, and I really was very fond of it until I tore the tail and the legs off the horse. So I recall my dad taking a piece of cardboard from the back of an Indian head tablet, school tablet, and putting the remnants of the horse down on the tablet and tracing around it to make me a new horse, and then cutting it out. And I thought that was magic, you know. Well, I don't know how many times he did that over the next year, but it began to dawn on me that one day when he wasn't there, that I'd watched him enough to do that I could do it. And so I started doing it. And pretty soon the magic of having all the horses I could possibly want occurred to me, and I started drawing horses. And by the time I started first grade, I really wasn't interested in paper dolls anymore, or cutting them out. I was just interested in drawing horses. I really had no idea, no concept of what an artist was in any historical or professional sense. There weren't any museums in Amarillo. There weren't any within 400 miles of Amarillo. When I was in elementary school, the school that I always had obtained this traveling reproduction show. It was a show somebody put together of the great master works, some of the great master works of art, of paintings. And they would take the classes then, and they'd march us through down one aisle across the stage and back out the other aisle, and have us absorb as much as we possibly could. And I came out there really concerned that I was never going to be able to be an artist because I didn't have a proper name. You know, like Michelangelo Buonarroti and Leonardo da Vinci and Vincent van Gogh. They all had these fancy names, and I was just kind of older, and it's like, I may have to change my name if I'm going to have any luck at this. They sought to find a qualified art teacher to come in and set up the program in the public schools there, and to be the supervisor of art and the first art teacher. And they were lucky enough to find this woman on the East Coast who had studied art at the Art Institute in Chicago and had been around everything. She was looking for a job, and they hired her, and her name was Georgia O'Keeffe. So it's like every art teacher I ever had always made a point of our knowing that, knowing who she was. And because of that, we had really good art programs. We had art classes available at every level, good teachers for the most part, and a lot of encouragement and support. And that probably contributed more than anything else to my serious consideration about pursuing art. I had no ambitions to go to New York and try to become a famous artist in New York. I just wanted to get a job and support myself and start doing what I wanted to do. I looked to my teachers as my models, role models of what was possible for me. One of the things that I really liked about being a college teacher and being in that environment is that, first of all, there wasn't anybody there telling me what I had to do. They expected me to be an artist. They expected me to make art and to pursue my own directions in my own career. And there was nobody telling me, well, we want you to do this or we want you to do that. And the education of sharing with colleagues who are, you have a ready-made art world there, which if you're going to be an artist, you really need some kind of art community, even if it's only one other person. And the university provided a whole family there of people to engage with and to learn from. I learned more the first year I taught than I ever did in school for a lot of reasons. One, for the first time in my life, I did have to conceptualize things that I felt about art, but I never really had to articulate. And learning how to teach, learning how to talk about art. Anytime you have an exhibit of your work, it's valuable to learn from, because you're able to sit in the midst of it and see it all together. And I've preached that for years to the students. If you don't learn something from having shows, the only other reason to have it is to try to sell something. But the real value of it was the learning experience of it. And the ability to see what you've done and to reflect upon it and to understand yourself. Because often what you put into paintings isn't always what you thought you put there, but it's you discover things about yourself sometimes years later, and you say, oh, now I know why I did that, you know. When at the time you had no idea why you made some decision or some choice. And so the ability to sit in the show and look at the work and reflect on that and consider where you've come and where you want to go is one of the most valuable experiences you can have as an artist, I think. And then to have an occasion like this where it's all there, where you're seeing decades of work all together at one time, is a little overwhelming. Anytime you have a show like this, it has to be a rewarding experience, I think. But it's not unlike examining your life in any other way. You look back and you value the things that were really exciting and wonderful. You struggle with the memories of things that were difficult or not satisfactory or unpleasant or unsuccessful. And it all becomes a tallying in a way of kind of positives and negatives, but it's a whole of a reflection of what you've experienced and the road you've been down, and it's all positive. You know, that's the way life is. It's a summation of what has been for me a really satisfying life. I think I've had a really good life. I think I've been lucky from every step along the way, despite the occasional leaks in the roof, and little things that get in the way of that. But these are all reminders of that, and reminders of, you know, it's like rocks across the wild river that you stepped across and get across the other side, and you look back and all those rocks are still there to remind you of every step you took.